Greetings and welcome to the beautiful Me Club, where you can have yourself a ball, where you can find a lot of love if you'll stay.
Welcome back to the Somerville line. My name is Henry Parker, producer of Henry Parker Presents. With me, I have author, motivational speaker,
Songwriter, artist manager, poet, author. I pretty much do everything.
Good, because I can't remember it all.
I
Renaissance
can't
woman.
either.
Sister Cordelia Moye.
That's right.
Now, welcome to Somerville Live.
Thanks for having me.
So, first of all, give us a little bit of your background.
I was born and raised in Roxbury. My grandfather, Joel Light, is actually a famous folk artist. He's from Memphis, Tennessee, and his most famous work is The Birdman. So basically what my grandfather did is he just passed down his love of the arts to me.
Okay.
I don't paint, but he gave me all these
That was my next question.
wonderful, but that's my next thing. But he gave me all these wonderful gifts. But yeah, I'm just a girl from Roxbury who likes art.
Now, in reading your bio, I noticed you're a motivational speaker. Tell me about that part of your career, because that's very important in this day and time.
Okay, so basically, about a year ago, I just wasn't happy living in Boston anymore, so I just decided to pack up and move to California. And so when I moved to California, when I would be on my way to work, I would listen to like these motivational speakers, Eric Thomas, and a lot of the other motivational speakers. And the first thing I noticed that they were all men. What the big ones I noticed, there are women that do it. And I said, something clicked in my head, and I said, I think I want to do motivational speaking, and I was talking to people, just observing human nature, and I was just noticing that the topic that kept coming up, or the main thing I started noticing about people were very fearful. And so I said, you know what, I think I need to go into motivational speaking, and my first talk is going to be about fear, because that fear covers, there's so many, fear just keeps going.
It's a broad aspect.
Oh, please. So, anyways, I decided to move back to Boston. I said, when I move back, I'm gonna get into motivational speaking. And it just started with me. Everybody's like, how are you gonna do that? Here's the voices that tell you what you can't do, because they're afraid. They're afraid of it. They can't do it, so now you can't do it. But the difference between me and everybody else is I don't have that genetic code of just being in fear. I like to conquer my fear. So whatever frightens me, I'm like, no, I got to jump in that. So but I moved back here. I picked up the phone. I called the local library, and I said, hey, I want to do a talk. And just as easy, the lady said, when do you want to do it? I didn't have to pay. It was just meant to be.
Now, do you have to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally to give these motivational speeches? Because you don't know, aren't sure what type of crowd you're going to have.
But that's the fun. Like, that's the overcoming the fear. I don't know who's coming. I don't know if it's going to be one person. I don't know if it's going to be 20 people. I don't know. I just put myself out there. I don't think about that aspect of it. I just go and I just do it. I try not to overthink things. I just go and I'm myself. I don't
just jump straight in?
I don't even practice. I just say, I look at the crowd, and whatever the vibe I get from the crowd is what I go with. So I don't know how to explain it to you. I just kind of like zone out, and I just go. I think when you practice too much, people know, and it's not genuine. If you just go out and you be yourself, people can feel that you're being yourself. If you practice in the mirror for 2 weeks, people know, because whether you don't notice that you sound robotic, but you do. So I just don't want to give people, I want to give people me. I want to react in real time with people. So I just go in freestyle. I have a format, but I just go freestyle the format.
We're going to make things interesting here.
Okay.
What would you say, give something to the general public here, some sort of motivation?
Wow, the motivation that I would give the general public just by watching people nowadays is stop looking for acceptance from other people. Stop worrying about what other people think about you, what they're going to say about you behind your back. Stop letting other people control your spirit and your soul. That's all you have. So you're born alone, and most likely you're going to die alone. So in the middle, what are you going to do? Are you going to listen to 100 people drown out your voice, or worry about how fat you are, how skinny you are, what kind of woman you think fits the status quo today, or what type of man you think is the status quo today? Are you going to live your life? Because I'm noticing that a lot of souls are confounded because they're letting too many other people in their zone. Sometimes you have to live your dream, and honestly, sometimes eagles have to fly alone. Pigeons need a pack. Pigeons are always, all other birds need a pack. All the other birds need other birds to fly with them. The only bird that flies alone is the eagle. Not only does the eagle fly alone, the eagle flies to an eye of the storm when the other people run. So for me, I consider myself an eagle, and I found mine, and I challenge everybody else to find your inner eagle, because you have to fly into the eye of the storm. You can't be afraid of life, because surprise, life's gonna smack you in the face one day. So you gotta get over, you gotta be an eagle in this life, you know?
Wonderful. Now, next question. Obviously, you're an author, songwriter.
I am.
Now, tell me about your songwriting career.
Oh, God. The songwriting, you know what's so funny? I wrote like 2 books of poetry, and I said, I want to kind of put my poetry to music. I didn't even know I could songwrite. But I said, all music is just poetry put to music. And I met this guy in Cambridge. I was out watching a friend DJ, and I happened to run into this guy, and he was saying, yeah, I'm a hip-hop artist. And rappers love me, by the way. Rappers, me and Erykah Badu need to have a serious conversation, but this rapper just came up to me. He's like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, this is what I am, I produce. And I was like, oh yeah. He said, I want you to come to the studio. I'm like, is this dude hitting on me, or like, is he serious? Like, what's up? But he was serious. He went to the studio. I told him the idea that I wanted about putting poetry to music. We went to the studio, and who knew I even know how to come up with a melody? He started playing this beat, and I just started coming up with these melodies and these hooks, and I didn't even know I had that gene. And next thing you know...
Now, do you perform at all?
I performed some in California. I'll perform like...
That's California. What about here?
I performed here. I performed here. But I just kind of do whatever the mood calls for. If someone wants me to perform, I'll perform a song or spoken word, or someone just wants me to do poetry, I'll do it. It just depends where I am and what's going on,
Now, you've authored, was it 9 books?
9.
Tell me about your writing career here.
Oh, God. Okay,
We'll start off with
Chuck.
Yeah. We'll lead up to Chuck.
Okay. Well, basically, what happened was maybe about 6 years ago, I was working at a job, and I got laid off, and I just was like, most people would be like, oh my God, why is this happening? And I was like, you know what? This is going to be amazing. I don't know why I thought something good was going to come out of it. I just felt like liberated.
It's like when one door closes, another one opens.
And I really felt, I said, something big is going to happen. I didn't know. And so I would be walking so I started temping, right?
Okay.
I started temping, just to get back out there. I didn't want to collect unemployment and stay out there too long, because that's not my style. I like to keep busy. So I started temping, and I would meet all these characters in these offices, and I would tell my friends these stories, and people kept saying, you should write a book, you should write a book. And finally, I said, I think I will. And I went home and I started writing this book called The Temp Assignment, no relation. I started writing this book called The Temp Assignment. It's about a biracial couple from Boston. Husband's biracial, wife's biracial, and she gets laid off from her job, and she starts temping, and then their marriage just goes bananas. That's one of my favorite stories, because it's my first, and it's just corporate white characters, black characters. It's just something for everybody. And so then after I wrote that book and it was in my hand, I just kept going. I just kept doing it. I just loved it, and now I love it. I love writing. I don't know what I would do without it.
Now, do you find there's a difference between writing your stories and lyrics, etc.?
Yeah, it's different, because when you're writing stories, when you're writing a story, you have to become the character.
Okay.
You have to become that character. Whatever that character's doing, that's you. You're one and the same. So I have to take myself out of the equation in order to write a book. I have to be totally, Cordelia doesn't exist anymore. If I'm writing about Chuck, if I'm writing about Ernesto, if I'm writing about, now I'm that person for as long as I'm writing them. With songwriting, I can take personal experiences, whether it's bad dates I've been on or watching a friend go through something, or I can I actually put more of my real self into songwriting. It's more of a real story because it's personal things that I've experienced or watched someone else experience. Or I can sit down and talk to you. I can write you a song right now. I can sit here with a notepad. It's like a therapy session. And I'll ask you a question and I'll just start writing. And then I'll write you a song. So I think songwriting is a little bit more, I don't know how I'd explain to you in words. It's just two different. They're the same, but they're very different. Because this is just a fictional, these are fictional characters. Songwriting, for me, I have to relate to the song.
Now,
in
question.
some way.
In your book, you know it's going to bring that up. You have the handle, The Imperfectionist. Is that across the board with your writing books, your music, etc., or that's just for your books here?
No, I like to go by the handle, The Imperfectionist, because for what I believe in, what I stand for, I don't think that any one person or any one thing is perfect. We're all flawed. And so when I was writing, when I first wrote my first book, I didn't know what I was doing. And people would say, you need to edit that. It's a great story. People would always say, it's a great story, but you need an editor. You need to do this, you need to do that, and you need to change. And the more people kept telling me I needed an editor and fix your mistakes, I think, just like I said, my grandfather's genes are real heavy. I was like, the more people told me you have to do it this way, the more I say, no, I think I'm not. I think I'm going to leave the mistakes in there. And the reason why, and then I started doing it kind of like, I started getting so good at writing, I wasn't making any mistakes. And people were saying, wow, you're getting great. And I'm like, no. I can't get great. I can't call myself the imperfectionist and start writing great. So I start putting mistakes in on purpose. Now, there's a method to my madness because everybody that does the thing like everybody else never gets remembered. So if everybody else is writing a certain kind of way because it fits the profile of what everybody's doing today, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, they're just going to be dust in the wind. The people that get remembered are the rebels. That when everybody else was going this way, they said, nah, I'm going to go that way. Those are the people that you're still reading about now. Those are the Van Goghs that cut off their ear, even though he might have been a little bit or the Basquiat's or whatever. Whoever bucked the system at the time and did it their way, you remember them. You don't remember the other 300, 400, 500 guys from that era that wrote books. You remember the rebel. And so right now, it seems like, oh my goodness, she's doing it that way. But I will be remembered for my style of writing. And you know what's so crazy? I'm starting to see people kind of do that style of writing now. And I'm like, okay.
Now, I hate to cut you short, but I want you to treat the general public here to some of your work here.
To Chuck. Yep. Okay. So this is my book, Chuck Small Circle. Basically, Chuck, this book is about a young man. He committed a crime when he was 17, and he went to prison for 20 years, and he came out when he was 37, Roxbury kid. But I'm just going to read you a little bit, the parts I can, because he could be a little explicit. But so I'll just read from when he has like a little bit of a confrontation with his mom, who wasn't quite the greatest mother growing up, and she's probably the cause of all his problems. Okay, so this is a little bit from Chuck. I stood outside the front door. I took a deep breath. I had on my black Levi's, a white T-shirt, and my black leather coat with my Timberland boots. It was fall. The air was crisp. It almost felt like someone was following me. Have you ever had that feeling, like the invisible man or something? I guess when you've done all the dirt I have, somewhere in the back of your mind, you always think someone is watching you. I could hear my mother's footsteps coming down the stairs. She looked through the peephole. I heard her sigh on the other end of the door. She waited about 10 seconds, then opened the door. Chuck, you are looking well considering, is what my mother said when she opened the door. Are you going to let me in, or are you going to treat me like a stranger? I said, running my hand through my waves. My mother looked skinnier than usual. Maybe she wasn't eating or something. Come in, Chuck, Mom said, moving aside for me to come in. I walked into the living room and had a seat on the couch. Mom followed me and sat on the lazy boy across from me. She had on a pink robe and slippers, and her hair was in a bun. You look tired. How you been? I asked. I'm fine. Long time no see. I guess we both have some catching up to do. I heard what happened to you. You lost your job, Chuck? What does your probation officer think about that? Mom asked, shaking her head. She looked disgusted. I was even more disgusted. In all the madness, I forgot to visit probation. Another thing to add to my list. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to find out where me and you went wrong. Why are you acting like Miss Perfect? We both know the truth. Let's get all our stuff out there on the table. Let me ask you a question, Glory. Do you love me? I asked. I leaned forward and looked directly into her eyes. She turned away. Chuck, I don't know why you came over here today. Did you come over here to confront me? If so, I'm too tired to argue. I've been feeling sick lately. I can't take the stress, Mom answered. She looked as if she wanted to cry. I didn't care. No one has ever had mercy on me. You didn't answer my question, so I guess the answer is no. I have a baby on the way. I'm going to be someone's father, and I'm not ready because I'm up. I can't love a child. I don't even love myself. All I knew growing up was you being a crackhead. No hugs, no love, nothing. Just you locked in your room getting high. You didn't even care when I dropped out of school. I spent 20 years in prison. 20 years in prison. Do you know what happened to me? Do you have any idea what I went through? My manhood was taken because of you getting high. You wanted me to get drugs for you. I killed Vaughn because you owed money. You owed money because you love a crack more than me. All the things I went through in prison are the direct result of you. You know what? I don't care if you love me or not. I hate you. You should have just had an abortion, Glory. I said, I got up and started pacing back and forth. Mom started crying, rocking back and forth in her chair. She put her hands over her ears. I walked over to her and put her hands down at her side. You're gonna listen to me. You're gonna listen, say something. I shouted. That's a little bit. It's a little bit.
Excellent. Now, as a writer, a seasoned writer, I might add, you got 9 works. What would you have to say, words of advice to some of these aspiring writers out here?
I would just say to get rid of first of all, get rid of the fear. Stop worrying about what people are going to think of you. Stop worrying about what people, I think the biggest thing is people are always they're always worried about what people are going to think first. And then they're like, well, where do I start? I don't even know what to do. And it's just all starts with picking up a pen and a pad. It's just words. It's like, why did you even go to elementary school if you weren't going to use that education? It's just like put the pen to a pad and just create a story. I mean, your mind can take you so many different places, but people are so afraid of their minds, and people are afraid of their own strength and their own power. I'm not anything special, you know? I'm not anything special, right? We all got the same 24 hours in a day. I didn't do anything like, oh my gosh, she's magic. I just put a pen to a pad, literally. I had no idea what I was doing. And look, I'm 9 books in because I just got rid of the fear, and I just found my strength, right? So I would say to anybody who wants to write a story, just write your story and stop worrying about what people are going to think. People are always going to have an opinion, and they have done nothing. They've done nothing, but they're always going to say something. So I left my mark. So I left my legacy, so I'm happy.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, before I forget, contact information.
People could catch me on Twitter. I'm Cordelia from the, what is my Twitter? Let me just double check because I don't want to be giving nobody wrong information. All right, mine is Cordelia from Rocks, R-O-X. Or they could just hit me up on my email, CordeliaMoye@yahoo.com. Not really a Facebook fan. So, yeah, Twitter and email is more my thing.
Plans for the future.
Wow. Plans for the future. I'm actually in talks with a couple of people. We're working on the beginning stages of working on a documentary about Roxbury. A lot of stuff. I have so much stuff going on. I'm managing an artist a local hip hop artist out of Boston. His name is Boston Fame. He's doing really well with his song Tom Brady. I'm just ready to take over the world, man. I'm ready to do everything. I'm just not like,
go girl.
That's what I do. I'm the takeover. That's it. That's what I do.
Okay, and with that, I want to thank you for being on the show,
Thanks for having me.
and next time,
Yeah.
bring a guest.
Okay.
And with that,
Maybe I'll bring Boston Fame.
that's right. That's what I have in mind. And with that, folks, peace, love, and Somerville.
That's it.
Greetings and welcome to the beautiful me club, where you can have yourself a ball, where you can find a lot of love. If you're stable, not so stable, whatever you have on your table, we're able to fix it, mend it, talk it out, cry it out, and shout. Leave your woes me, girl, I'm trying to make it. I guess I am alright. Leave your money tight, my man ain't right out in the wind tonight. We came here to party, to smile, to get your me on for a while, to get your groove back, honey child. So get your cute on, let's get wild. And beautiful me baby, that's what I call myself. I leave my attitude on the shelf. It's about me and no one else, but beautiful you baby. I'm talking dollars and not cents. It's not arrogance but confidence. So pick your head up and come on in. There's no drama, I'm saying, and no haters up in this spot. You treat it like the queen that you are. Here you walk the red carpet like a superstar. And beautiful you baby, and beautiful me too. I tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna party like tonight is through. Beautiful you, and beautiful me too. Beautiful you, and beautiful me too. Beautiful you, yeah, and beautiful me too. Beautiful you, beautiful you. Be excited, you're invited to take a part in our new spot. Here you're not judged by what you got. Everything and everybody here is hot, 'cause the beautiful me club, baby, it is a party of the mind. Here your self-esteem is sure to climb, so put your troubles down and let's unwind. Beautiful you, and beautiful me too. Beautiful you, beautiful you.